A married couple was returning home late at night and, seeing a dog near the garbage cans, rescued her, although the dog resisted. It was only in the morning that they realized why the dog did not want to go with them. There was silence in the courtyards. The city was just getting ready to wake up. Only two people, as if afraid to disturb this calmness, slowly, trying not to make noise, moved along the asphalt path. This is a married couple returning home from a party. Kostya and Ilona were tired, so they moved slowly. The mood was bad and they walked in silence. They were visiting a married couple who had 2 children. And they were asked again when they would get their own. These conversations were unpleasant for them. As if you could just have a baby like that. Not today, but tomorrow I came to visit with a ready-made one. Kostya replied to his friends like that, but turned it into a joke, said that first you need to try to get a pet. But he did not know how much he had hit the mark, and that after this joke their lives would change. They stopped and listened. The man hesitated uncertainly, trying not to look at his wife. I knew that she would definitely not be able to pass by. She feels sorry for everyone. And then, it seems, something happened to the dog. Moreover, after today's conversation, she is even more emotionally unstable. The man wanted to sleep at night, and not find out the details. There were no more sounds, and he took a step towards the entrance. But then someone whined again. Kostya, well, we can't just pass by, his wife whispered plaintively, but the man had already started walking towards the garbage cans himself. When I was approaching, I did not notice the stone, and stumbled. He swore, startling the dog. A thin dog of small stature, with its tail tucked between its legs, ran away and stopped, looking at people in disbelief. However, she could not be called a dog either. She looked more like a shadow or a ghost. She was so exhausted. You scared him, Ilona scolded her husband softly, but the dog seemed scared. It is clear that he is abandoned, and it is immediately clear that people offended him, once they brought him to such a state, so now he did not trust anyone. Moreover, the man raised his voice. The dog did not know that it was not for her, but no matter how intimidated the dog was, he was already doomed to be saved. The couple felt sorry for the unfortunate man, and decided at all costs to take him to their home. They tried to catch him for 10 minutes, but the dog wouldn't let go, and he was even more scared. He ran away from the trash cans, and continued to run in the yard. Ilona had already tried to persuade him anyway, but he was still afraid. Until my husband thought to lure the dog with food. Since they were near their entrance, Kostya sent his wife for bait, and he stayed to guard the dog. As a result, he succumbed. I couldn't resist a piece of sausage. The woman began to gently stroke the dog, and then picked it up. And the dog was quiet. He looked at her in fright, then at the garbage cans. It was as if he was thinking about where he would be better off. They spoke to him gently, stroked him, and did not offend him. In addition, they poured food for him, gave him a bowl of water, and built a soft bed on the floor. The dog ate the treats greedily, and looked at the smiling people from under his forehead. And they hugged and looked at the new family member. In order not to further injure the guest, the couple decided not to find out his gender and his state of health now, but left it all for later. Let the unfortunate man rest and calm down now. After the dog was provided with everything necessary, the tired husband and wife fell asleep, promising themselves not to stay away for so long anymore. By this time it was already getting light, and they were glad that it was a day off and they didn't have to go to work. The dog was quiet in his place, it seemed, resigned to his fate. you didn't have to worry about him. They immediately realized that it was a dog. We rushed into the hall, but she wasn't there. To the exit, and the door is wide open. It turns out that the dog ate and ran away. Still, I didn't trust people. I've told you how many times to change the lock. You see, even a dog can open it. Ilona began to scold her husband. It's dangerous. It's good that they heard the noise, but it's not a super smart dog that got caught. It's their door that's so simple. It could not be locked from the inside. I pressed the handle and it opened. I was too lazy to use the additional lock. But, of course, it's dangerous. Ilona always tried to lock it, and her husband often forgot. She tugged at him, change it, but he did not react, saying, well, at home, they will hear if anything. But now I'm convinced that my wife was right. They almost forgot about the dog, but then they heard the patter of paws. The woman had already stretched a smile when she saw that it was their dog who had returned, but when she saw that he had a bag in his mouth, she froze in puzzlement that it was puzzling that the package was moving. It immediately occurred to me that someone had thrown the puppies away, and the dog had saved them and brought them to people, confident that they would take care of them. And it's obviously not hers, because it would be obvious if she was feeding them. The woman stretched out her hands to the package and then a child's crying came out. Ilona recoiled in horror, but immediately rushed back to the package. The couple quickly brought him into the apartment. The dog was running around them anxiously. Ilona began rushing from room to room, grabbing sheets and towels to wrap the baby up. He was covered in dried blood, clearly a newborn. It looks like his mother threw him out right after giving birth. The husband has already called the police, and asked his wife not to do anything until an ambulance arrives, so as not to harm the child. But where there, Ilona was already examining the baby, cuddling with him, gently wiping the dried blood, and crying. How is it? Who could do this to a living human being? And the kid was screaming like a cut. The woman's heart was bursting with pain. What if something is damaged in the child? I would like to feed him, but they don't have anything for newborns. And your heart sinks when you look at him, and you don't know how to help. And the minutes drag on unbearably long, and the ambulance still does not go. The baby became quiet and began to poke his nose into her, trying to find her breasts. The woman roared even harder, and the dog all this time, excitedly ran around Ilona, jumped on her, sniffing the baby, and whined herself, also pitied the baby. Even an animal couldn't calmly watch this. And some woman just got rid of a living being like that. It didn't fit in the couple's head. Fortunately, the ambulance and the police arrived quickly. The doctors took the child away, and the police began to find out the details from the couple. They realized that the child had been thrown into the trash cans, where the dog found him. We went there together and looked at everything there. She was guarding the baby. Apparently, she was worried that he would not be hurt. And then, after making sure that these people were safe, I brought them a baby. The police suggested that the dog most likely saw a man who decided to get rid of the baby in this way. It could have been either mom or someone else. That was what they had to find out. And maybe he can help the dogs. When the couple were left alone, they still couldn't calm down. Not only because of the shock after the incident, but also because of something else. After all, that's how, you can say from the sky, a child fell on them. And all they felt sorry for was the dog. It was something amazing that would be hard to believe if it hadn't happened to them. They are physically unable to become parents, and they found out about this before the wedding, but they did not tell anyone. They have been together for 6 years now, and they began to think about what to do. They really wanted children, but could not decide on medical intervention or adoption. And in their last conversation, they never came to a consensus. And then the husband in despair threw the phrase, "Well, why can't a child fall from the sky?" And then it happened, I really fell down. True, it is not from the sky in the literal sense, but it cannot be interpreted in any other way. When they came to their senses, they ran to the police. Anyway, keep us posted. Not that they claim that the one who found it should get the child, but the baby fell into the soul. Fate didn't just throw it at them, they were advised to solve the issue immediately with the baby's house. As a result, they were not ready for adoption, but had to find out everything urgently. They immediately decided that they would take this child away, even if he had health problems. Ilona went to the baby every day, and was ready to do anything for him. The newborn is lucky that he was not born in winter. Despite the fact that it was cool, and he was wrapped in a thin cloth and thrown into the trash, there were only slight bruises on his body. His health was fine. They called her Nida, because not only she was found, but also the baby. Nida turned out to be very smart. It seems that she used to live with people, and for some reason she was thrown out on the street. Here she had health problems, she had to treat her stomach. Perhaps it was because of this that the previous owners decided to get rid of it. They did not want to bother, or maybe problems began already on the street due to poor nutrition, but why be surprised if there are people who get rid of babies? In general, some people treat animals like toys. They got tired of it, threw it away. The main thing is that now Nada has a family. Special food and love made her a happy dog, but in the end, the couple adopted a boy. Nada recognized him right away, almost jumped up to the ceiling. That's how animals can love people. There was no need to worry about the baby. Nada did not take her eyes off him, and his mother was soon found. She turned out to be a factory worker. She already had 2 small children, and the third was unplanned. She raised a 3-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son by herself. Her husband abandoned her. She dated another man for a while. He didn't take much care of his lady's children, and he didn't want his own, and she didn't need a third one herself. The woman found out about the pregnancy late. It was too late to have an abortion. She did not dare to admit to her roommate that she was pregnant. She was worried that he would leave her. Fortunately, it was full and the belly was not noticeable. She didn't tell anyone about her situation, but in the end, the roommate suspected something was wrong. I had to confess to him. He seemed to accept it, but just before giving birth, he left her. He said he didn't need it, let her figure it out for herself. The woman thought that if she left the child in the hospital, everyone would find out and condemn her, so she did not come up with anything better than throwing it in the trash. The birth went well. I didn't have to ask for help. She was lucky that it happened at night, and she managed to get rid of the newborn quickly. So that he wouldn't scream, she breastfed him, and when he fell asleep, she took him to the trash cans. Perhaps this saved the baby. Fortunately, the mother pacified the child in this way, or she could, as there have already been similar cases, drown him. When the police came to her, she had a man visiting her. That is, she threw the baby away, and already forgot about it, as about some kind of misunderstanding. This woman was convicted, and her children were taken away by her parents. They did not understand why their daughter did this, because they always helped, and she was not low income. They would have pulled. In extreme cases, I would simply refuse that. Is shame in front of people scarier than the realization of what she has done. So many couples are in line for adoption, and such women just throw away their children, and this mom eventually ruined both her life and the lives of her little children. who had to be left without a mother for 2 years, which she will spend in prison. They believed that the son was a gift from heaven. That day changed their lives forever. Their family has become complete. A beloved son, and a dog that was